I'd like to greet all human beings, no matter what your nationality, race is, no matter how old you are, young or old, no matter if you are rich or poor, no matter what your religion may be, as long as you put God before man. And I'm greeting my enemies as well, especially here in Charleston, Missouri, because I know I have many, black and white, not because of me doing something that any normal human being or Homo sapien would think that I'm doing wrong, but what an individual that's corrupted and I'm speaking up against it would think is wrong. But I greet all of you with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be upon you. The day is May the 7th, 2015. Sunday evening, 7:40 p.m. Charleston, Missouri time, or should I say Central time. I'm coming to you today again with another YouTube video, and I want you to listen to every one that I put, especially this one here, because the name of this one here is Charleston, Missouri gives apartheid an additional meaning. And the reason why I say that is because anybody know about apartheid, what Nelson Mandela and a lot of other blacks went through in South Africa with apartheid, which caused it Nelson Mandela for standing up for something that was right. White supremacists taking over all of their homes and lands and taking them out of it and putting themselves and their families in it as if this was law. And he spent 27 years in prison standing on what he knew was right. Some people told him, just stop and they won't send you to prison. But when God call you and send you to do something, prison or death is your least worry. Your least worry is when your mission is done. If your life is taken or God come back, because he said he's going to return. When he return, he's separating the sheep from the goats. The sheep would be to the right and the goats would be to the left. You don't want to be a goat. You want them to be able to say, servant, job, well done. You ran the race. You didn't take no shortcuts during the course. You completed the course. You want to be able to bow out when the angel of death come and say, job well done. You see, in South Africa, it was white superiority. And during slavery, the same thing. But you had those blacks that worked in the house of the master or the slave owner or the white supremacist. And they assisted them in keeping the ones in the field or the rebels suppressed. Look at Roots. Kuta Kante, when they told him to take his leg off, take it off. I'm not going to be Toby. I'm not going to be your boy. I'm not going to submit to you continuing to killing and raping and robbing my generation. It's happening here in Charleston, Missouri. When I stand up against these white supremacists, and I say white supremacists that runs the Charleston R1 school district, that runs the Charleston, Missouri Police Department, that runs the Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County Courthouse, that runs the Charleston, Missouri City Hall. The reason why I said it white supremacists, here it is, the 19 years that I've been down here, they have built a brand new courthouse. They have built a brand new detention center. In places like Chicago, where I grew up, the detention center would be called the county jail. That's the Mississippi County Jail. Like in Chicago, you got the Cook County jail or jails. We know there's multiplicity of Cook County jails in Chicago. Then they built a brand new parole and probation building. Then they built a brand new supermax prison. Now, the population here, according to the census of 2010, which the last time I believe they took a census, they said that the population for blacks is 51%. They said the population for the whites is 47%. Now you have 51% of blacks in a town that has 5,947 people. My two youngest daughters, 8 and 9 years old, they said, well, we got 5,948 because we brought Grandpa back down here last year in October. Give or take. But now, there's no black in no high position, really no position in this town. They let some work in the school, teacher's aide. They have a director of transportation. They say, I believe he's been in the school for 29 years for the school bus drivers. They have a assistant black principal in the elementary school, Hearns Elementary School in the Charleston R1 school district. They have blacks, I guess, on city, a black in city council downtown. They have a couple of blacks in the courthouse. They have a few blacks work in the police department. They have a few blacks that work in I don't think it's none work in City Hall. None whatsoever. It's some that work for the city, but none inside of City Hall. You have some that work in the detention center for the juvenile. The new one got juvenile and adults. You got a few on the school board. And now, let me get one thing straight. I don't believe every white person here in Charleston, Missouri are white supremacists. I respect all the people that work in the Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County Library. Them are some of the most respectful ladies that I've seen. Even though they're white, they're one of the most respected ladies that I done seen in this town. One of them a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, all of them know my children and me. They know my fight against this police department in the school, what they let a white bus driver do to my child. They don't look down on me for my fight. I'm protecting my children. I got a right. But anyway, a friend of mine came down from St. Louis, and she asked, can she take them with her? She was going to take them and her niece to the park. Now, they got on the black side of town. They got a couple of parks, but she took them on the white side of town. My children was kind of shocked, but then when they went out there, they noticed a lady that works in the library, and her children was out there. And she allowed my two daughters to play with her younger child. So I don't think, even though they may live on the other side of town, I don't think they prejudiced. The supermarkets that I go in, I have no problem with the owners. They treat me and my two daughters. I know they know my fight against this system. See, when the shoe don't fit, you ain't gonna wear it. If you're not a part of it, you're not gonna let it bother you. I see some business people respond to some of my YouTube videos saying, why don't you stop taking these pictures and criticizing them and helping them? Let me tell you why I won't. You know, why would I help them when they came in my house several times without a warrant, trying to intimidate my children to say that I'd done something to them? And my children told them I haven't did anything to them, but an anonymous phone caller told them something that's going on in my house when it was just me and my two daughters staying there. How could somebody tell you what's going on in my house and they don't even live there? It's the people from the school and the police department, because I'm setting them out. My complaint went on YouTube. My complaint went in the Standard Democrat newspaper out of Sykes, Missouri, 3 times. My complaint went into a newspaper called The Messenger out of Malden, Missouri, 2 times. My complaint went into the Austin Weekly newspaper out of the Austin district on the northwest side in Chicago 2 times. That's why they trying to do it. I'm exposing all these people that done me wrong and done my children's wrong. So if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it, because I'm speaking up against blacks here too. The NAACP leader. I give more respect to the Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard than I do the NAACP president here in Charleston, Missouri. You see, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, they stood their ground. Even though I don't really have respect for them because of what they stand for, but they stood their ground. Putting leaflets on people's cars in there. They took it all the way to the federal court and won. With the help of the ACLU out of St. Louis. I couldn't get them to help me though. They said they didn't have the funds. But anyway, to show you what these blacks in this town, I'm talking about the preachers, I'm talking about Lester Gillespie, who works for Suzanne Wesley. They let him run everything at 700 South Elm Street or / Cy Williams. He had that street change from Elm to Cy Williams. He did. Him and 2 other leaders was fighting who gonna have what, if they gonna keep it Elm Street. The other leader wanted to keep it Elm Street, and he wanted to be Cy Williams. Naturally, anything Lester Gillespie want, he got the backing of the white supremacists because he helping suppress the blacks in this town. But anyway, he runs everything in this building. It used to be called the Lincoln High School, or in elementary school, where the only place blacks could go at once upon a time, until 2 young children and attorneys out of St. Louis represented 2 black children who said that they had a right, 2 black children now, said that they had enough sense to know they had a right to go to the Charleston High School and shouldn't have to be just limited to this one school where all blacks go, where they wasn't getting all the education that the whites was getting. They had that much sense. They had that much sense to know what Frederick Douglass said. It is easier to build up strong children than it is to repair broken men. That's what we have here. A bunch of broken men call themselves preachers, call themselves groups, leaders, and organizations. A bunch of broken men that can't be repaired. Anytime a white police, November the 8th, 2011, shot and killed a 34-year-old black mentally ill guy after he'd been tased twice, shot him twice, and nothing was done. No protesters. Every time something happened in this town, no protesters. That's another part of apartheid having addition meaning to it, because they have these leaders. All they want is federal grant money. See, they chasing after children. They don't want to deal with grown people. They chasing after children because they get their grant money. They feed them. They buy a few basketballs and put the rest of the money in their pockets. They only have certain family and friends that can get the jobs. People that do have the jobs, look how they got fired or they left because of what they doing. You see, they don't care about these children. Once them children unsigned that paper, they gone. They don't care about what happened to them. But let me tell you, they bring a new meaning. If you stand up against the people in the courthouse, the people in the Charleston R1 school district, the people in City Hall, the people in the police department, they gonna find a way to suppress you. Every time they use all type of methods with me. I was making a documentary on May the 19th of 2015, and then showing the corruption and all the violence in this town, in the black neighborhoods, where the police ain't even trying to solve it. Black leaders ain't coming out to talk about nothing about it. But then they took and gangsted my cameraman, told him, Charleston Police Department, thugs, gangbangers, not all of them, But these three went to his house and told him,